One of TV's most groundbreaking true crime series is back right here on Fox 61. America's Most Wanted analyzes some of the nation's most gripping cases. In Monday night's season premiere, host John Walsh and his son Callahan were joined by the survivor of one of the most followed child abduction cases of our time. And right now, we're speaking with her. Elizabeth Smart is joining us this morning. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being with us and taking the time to talk to us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
It's been 20 years since your abduction at 14 years old and then your safe return. It's created an incredible platform for you to speak out and educate others about what happened to you and the next steps in recovering from trauma. So talk to us a little bit more about what that's been like for you.
Well, it's certainly something that I never imagined would be my life. But that being said, I'm not sorry that I was kidnapped because it's allowed me to do what I feel is so meaningful today. And once again, had I not been kidnapped, I don't think I would have been aware of just how rampant the problems of kidnapping and abduction and sexual assault and abuse truly are. I mean, they are prevalent in our community. And these are very, very difficult topics to talk about. They're scary to talk about, especially if you have kids and you want them to be safe. I mean, it's not easy. And you think of all of the safety education that you were taught as a kid. I bet you probably learned, like, stop, drop, and roll. I bet you probably learned what to do in case of an earthquake or a fire. You know, you probably had fire drills at school. Maybe you made a safety plan with your family of what you should do if your house ever caught on fire. But how many people actually think about, well, what am I going to do if someone breaks into my home? Or what am I going to do if I'm out walking or playing and I'm kidnapped? Or what do I do if someone corners me in a closet and starts touching me? These are a lot more difficult safety concerns to address and come up with plans. It's really, really hard. But that being said, the statistics for these kinds of crimes are much, much higher than, unfortunately, maybe catching on fire. Across the nation, it's about 1 in 5 people is sexually abused. And that is scary. That is scary. You know, it's about 1 per minute. That's how frequently it's happening. But every 9 minutes, that person is a child. And so now being able to be a part of America's Most Wanted is it's very special to me personally, because I feel like it played a major role in bringing home and rescuing more children and becoming educated on the issues. For instance, the case that I was able to participate in last night was a parental abduction. And I think a lot of people just think, oh, well, if parents kidnapped them, it's maybe not as extreme. It's probably not as dangerous. But that simply is not true. I mean, these are people who are supposed to protect and love you, and yet here they are betraying you at just about the deepest level possible. So this is an opportunity to, like I said, become educated and then trust your gut. If you see something that seems wrong, that seems off, don't be afraid to act. I think that fear holds a lot of us back from acting. We think, well, surely someone else will know more than me. Someone else will see something more than me. And I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to intrude on people's lives if I'm wrong. But I just think to myself, like, I would rather be embarrassed all day long at being wrong than possibly being right and allowing this child to go on continuing to be abused or kidnapped. And so I think as a community, as a country, we all need to overcome that fear of being wrong and a fear of not acting. Let's
Right.
act.
Yeah, not being afraid to speak up and say something because it could save a life.
Absolutely.
Now, you're a shining example of how complete recovery seems to be possible after this type of thing. I think a lot of our viewers want to know, what is your life like now? Can you share that with our viewers?
I mean, my life is different than what I ever imagined. I mean, I'm married and I'm a mom now. I have 3 kids that I love more than life itself. But I'm able to be involved in advocacy. I've been able to be involved in things that I feel like are important and that can help create change. And I feel pretty lucky to do that. But I think I think everybody has a story. I think everybody has experienced pain and trauma in their life. And I don't think it's right that we sit and compare, what you went through to what I went through. Well, who had it worse? Because at the end of the day, like, pain is pain. And if you're hurting, then you're hurting, and you shouldn't belittle that and pretend like it didn't happen. That doesn't do anyone any favors. And I have to say, I do think it takes courage to come forward and say, I need help. I absolutely think it takes courage to even speak to it for the first time, speak about something that's been hurting you or is traumatic, or maybe it's abuse that you've experienced. Whatever it is, I think it can be very scary and very intimidating, because you don't know how the other people are going to react. You don't know if people are going to believe you or not believe you, or think you're blowing things out of proportion. So I do think it is very courageous to step forward and say you need help. And I think we all probably can have a little bit more compassion for each other, because we've all dealt with hurt. We've all dealt with pain.
Absolutely. We never know what the other person is dealing with. Elizabeth, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and sharing your experience to help keep others safe and also potentially save lives.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be a part of it and excited to be here.